He is on speaking on international networking.
And there was no law till that time as to how do you deal with those who amassed wealth out of the war purchases. It was around that time in 1944 or so that for the first time we issued an ordinance that if anybody is caught for an act of corruption, his assets would be immediately frozen, and those profits of that crime would eventually, upon his conviction, belong to the state. They become public property. That ordinance continued, and since India achieved independence in 1947, and by virtue of the Government of India Act, all pre-existing laws became enforceable. That's probably one of the only laws in India which is still referred to as an ordinance, and it continues till today. Thereafter, in almost every such area, be it smuggling, be it narcotics, be it terrorism or unlawful activities, we have now tried to make our laws more civilized. And each one of those, the state or the prosecuting agency has a right and an authority to start freezing the assets which are earned out of that crime. But then you go to the next stage of that problem, where international networks exist. And I think a more appropriate word is not networks, the more appropriate word is international syndicates exist. And these international syndicates enable the transfer of money. The flight of this capital today can actually take place without physically shifting the money itself. And within a matter of minutes, this can cross over into several jurisdictions. You can have layering of that money, and therefore it can be hidden somewhere in some corner of the world within a matter of minutes or hours itself. And this being the enormity of the problem, it is not possible for any one single jurisdiction on its own strength and ability to be able to smash these syndicates, to get the appropriate information about them, to collect entirely global intelligence on its own, freeze and then confiscate this money. Obviously, for this, you need international cooperation, for the simple reason that a crime doesn't cease to be a crime merely because either the profit of that crime or the criminal crosses the boundaries, the geographical boundaries of a country. It is therefore of extreme importance that to counter these illegal syndicates, a network of law enforcers is developed. And that has been the real purpose of your exercise itself. The more you are able to strengthen this network, the more you are able to smash these syndicates, the more you are able to confiscate these assets, the more you are able to show that that the guilty are punished, the better it is for a civilized management of economies in the countries, and the better it is really from the point of view of jurisprudence also, that nobody commits a crime and gets away with it. Merely serving a punishment and pocketing the profits of that crime doesn't meet the ends of justice itself. Now, there are parallel global activities going on in order to create the network of law enforcers which can counter the lawbreakers or these syndicates. Profits earned out of crime is one such illustration for which all of you are here. But then there is a parallel activity also, where the crime is not against some individual, but it amounts to its monies which are intended to escape the tax networks of countries. So that's a parallel activity which has been going on, that evasion of taxes and therefore parking assets internationally somewhere, for which the G20 has taken an initiative. Various international agencies have now stepped in, and therefore the world is increasingly moving there also towards a situation where you can't shift the profits that you earn out of one jurisdiction.
Right, so that was Finance Minister Arun Jaitley inaugurating the International Conference on Networking, the network that really focuses on the regional cooperation that is needed in the scope for tax frauds, mainly illegal money transfer and evasion of taxes. And he spoke how it is very difficult for one jurisdiction to really control all these international syndicates that work across borders, and therefore international cooperation, how much it is needed in such times, and how strengthening this network really will dismantle these syndicates that are working for tax frauds, and how it will also benefit the economy as well as the jurisprudence. So we will keep an update of that and keep getting you the latest from there. Moving